airwaves ignite for the chosen few. He's got the voice, the spirit, and the fire. Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob, taking us higher. He built a palace of cryptids in this lonely space. True cryptid encounters, volumes 1 and 2. Coming from the darkness, tell your own tale. He's starting the job out past the setting sun. He's Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob, until the work is done. It's a Bigfoot pirate rock and roll show. On the airwaves, watch the legend grow. Come join the beyond and hear the wild scream. Yeah! Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob. Time to open up your mind. Get ready to rock and roll. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's Brunch with BMR and Monica for your Tuesday afternoon listening or viewing pleasure. Thanks to everybody for coming in. Don't forget, mateys, hit that like button. Leave a comment after the show. It does help. Of course, promote book helps promote YouTube, promoting book sales. If you bought my book, Bigfoot Mystery Represents True Cryptid Encounters, Book 1 and 2, leave a review for those that bought it. Again, helps push that out. Hope you're having a great day. We always have a pretty cool afternoon show for you guys with Monica. It never gets boring with Monica around. We always have a good time. Yeah, that's really about it. We'll get this puppy started. Don't forget the Super Cat is open. Arr. A great way to help support what we do. If you don't know what the Super Cat is, it's the Super Chat. Also, mateys, you can become BMR pirates. Join the many, join the few. Depending on your point of view, you know what you get. You get a good old picture of BMR sporting a bandana in the chat room. Yes, that's what you get. But also, I've added about, 15, 20 members only videos for you guys to check on out. Appreciate that. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Thank you ever so much. And hey, with that being said, I'm going to bring up the lovely Monica.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good. Finally got some nice balmy 70-degree weather for the next 3 or 4 days. So I'm pumped up for that. Only to shovel snow in 2 weeks, probably. You know how it is here.
When's the average last frost date for you?
It's supposed to be okay. Well, frosted just 2 days ago. I told you 27 degrees. The last frost date is like supposed to be like May 15th, and that's when I did my garden. And then remember remember when I told you?
Yeah, you did. I mean, it's just so unbelievable to me that you have a last frost date in May.
Oh, it is. No, listen,
we're sweating bullets by May 15th.
Well, here's the thing. I sweated bullets yesterday. Here's the weird thing about my state, Monica. Like today is like a summer day. Yesterday was like a summer day. And then I'm looking ahead on the forecast. We're gonna have like a 41-degree night, a 38. What is the actual freeze temperature? Is it 37? 30, so even if you plant something now, 37. See,
when it gets like in the 30s, that's when I mean, it's not frost necessarily, but it freaks me out. Like it affects the plants, like anything below 40.
Well, as you well know, I did it a week early last year, and the growth got stunted on everything because I had back-to-back days under 30. I know 32, 36, but 2 days in a row. And I just planted the little baby stuff.
Yeah.
and they didn't take off.
I bet they didn't.
It was terrible.
You need in your basement
Yeah.
set up a growing center for your little vegetables, so you can
Okay.
get them growing and get them started. Just get some, and they have them like grow lights. It sounds like we're doing something else, but
Yeah,
they have
right.
grow lights, and you
Oh,
put
they
the
use that
seedlings
too.
under it, and it keeps them, because it's in your house, so they won't freeze. And the
Okay.
light provides them the UV or whatever the heck it is they need from the sunlight. And then once your frost date is gone, you've got some really well-established plants that you can put in the garden.
Yeah, maybe I'll go to the pot store. They probably got fantastic
Sure
ones.
they do. Yeah.
I will tell you this: 2 years ago, I haven't seen the guys. A friend of my buddies, he's in the grow business,
Mhm.
and
It's lucrative in the right state if you do it right.
yeah, he did okay for a while, but like anything else, Monica, all you can buy marijuana. I could drive 3 blocks. Well, not 3
Well,
miles.
you're in Detroit. Yeah, I bet you can.
Well, yeah,
You can get a lot more than that in 3 blocks, probably. Maybe
yeah,
not from your house, but
not from my house,
Yeah.
no, but I could drive 5 miles. But 2 years ago, my buddy, I really had a great garden a couple years ago when my buddy was still living around here. He came over one day and he gave me a bunch of product that he used to grow his marijuana. He says, "You should try this in your vegetable garden." I said, "Really?" I must tell you though, and his stuff was expensive. And so he kind of gave me some, and I must tell you, it was fabulous. It worked very well. It did.
I bet.
Um,
They're not playing.
no, they don't play. I mean, it's a making business. I was happy that actually the bulk of my hard work is done, because last week I told you I bought white marble rock and I did a
Right.
fence line. Yesterday I did a longer fence line and bought more rock and did that all day. It took me 4 hours yesterday. And I instead of along my one fence line, I decided to get rid of the mulch because I'm just getting sick and tired of mulch all
No,
over the place.
I get it.
So I put the rock over that, and that was a backbreaker. But again, I don't mind doing things like that, as you know. So that's done. So all the heavy lifting's done. Now I just need mulch and more dirt for the garden, and I'm going to make my garden a hair. Every year I say I'm not going to do it, but every year I add another foot perimeter around the garden. So it started out 5 years ago at a certain size. Now it's like doubled. Because every year I trim it back a little bit, make it a little bit bigger. Because I did find out, and I should have known this anyway, spacing is the key. Because a lot of the things that I get when they take off, like cucumbers, one year my cucumbers invaded my whole
Oh, yeah. You need to
shaded
trellis those. I told you that.
I'm going to get that this year too. Because I have like the 3-foot wire, but it surpasses that. So I need maybe a 4-foot trellis. I'll space it off, and and I'll put the vines in it and let it just grow up there. So that I'm definitely going to get. Thanks, Jason. Jason Finch has been a pirate now for 4 months. Shout out to Jason Finch.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
That was Monica. I don't know if I did that or not. Daddy State and Danielle Too Hot. Mickey. Hi, Mickey. Hi, Tyler. Riley, Ivy Forest. I think he resides in Maine. That's where.
Yeah, they live in Presque Isle, I believe, or near Presque Isle, and that's where my family is. I have family in Presque Isle. The Libbies I am related to.
You're a Libby?
I'm a Libby. My grandmother was a Libby.
A vegetable canner, corn can?
No, I don't think they're that Libby.
I told you this story a long time ago, the disgusting story about my mother and how on her deathbed, my grandma's deathbed.
Yeah, she's a real peach.
She is a peach.
Yeah.
And it was rumored, though, that possibly her father was Freddie Kiplinger, who was the bread king of Detroit.
Get a DNA test.
God.
Get an ancestry. Rob, they're like $99.
Yeah,
Get
I'll
an
just-
Ancestry DNA kit
I'll
and make her
s-
spit in a vial.
So I just tell, hey, man, I need to sample your spit.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Like, you got to wait 30 minutes after you got to eat, and then you don't have to eat, but brush your teeth and then wait 30 minutes. And then you have to spit a certain amount into a vial and you mail it off. But my advice to you is take a photo of the code that's on the side of the vial, because I didn't do that and they lost my sample.
Oh, God.
And because I didn't have the code, they couldn't tell me what was going on. So they sent me another one and I just haven't done it yet.
Oh, that reminds me of something. A couple of years ago, a friend of mine said he went to the doctor's, got his annual physical. And I told you before how we do it. They take blood and they also do a urine draw. He used the same doctor I did, because I recommend my doctors to all my buddies. Oh, my God. So he went to the lab to take care of that business. Do you know, Monica? So he went to his doctor to get his physical, and everything was horrendous. I mean, like, it was cancer.
Oh my gosh.
He goes, this can't be me. There's something going on. Do you know, at the lab, they mixed the samples with somebody else, and the wrong one was sent in with the wrong label.
Oh my God.
The guy thought he was, Rob, man, I don't have much time. I go, what the hell are you talking about? I said, no, there's something going on there. You were just healthy as a whip last year.
See, they did that to Chris. They didn't mix up his samples.
Okay.
But he had tests that came back not nice, not good. Like one of his organs was failing. And I remember thinking, but you're not presenting. Because I had a friend that died from liver cancer or bile duct cancer specifically. And his father died from liver cancer, unfortunately. And his liver results came back kind of weird. And they were like, oh, you got this and this and this. And I'm like, but you're not presenting with the stage they're saying you're at. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And he doesn't drink. Chris doesn't, like, you can have non-alcoholic, I guess, liver issues.
Yeah.
Clearly you can. But they were making it sound like, he had like a month to live when they first told him about it. And I was freaking out, of course. But I'm like, you're not jaundice.
Yeah, no.
You don't have ascites. You're not confused. Like, you don't have any of the symptoms that, like, my friend who died from it had.
Yeah.
And, come to find out, but I mean, it's not as bad as the initial lab result was indicating, and what the initial person that he talked to was telling him. Like, we got to watch everything, but it just doesn't, he went to another doctor and they're like, you're not presenting with any of this. Like, what? I don't understand why they're telling you all this stuff, and you're not there.
Jeez, it's just like, and again, I talked to you last week about how I said, oh my God, I read my report when I had all my stuff done a couple of weeks back, and I went into the doctor, said, Doc, I'm dying. I'm just a little overboard. Why do you read your reports, Rob? Because I have access to them, Doc.
And I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and I'm going to do it. Because everything said, we talked about this before, abnormal.
Yeah.
But, it's only it's a tenth of a millimeter or whatever, milliliter, I guess, mLs, whatever. I'm not a doctor. Who knows? He goes, yeah, everything's abnormal. Nothing's precise and perfect. He goes, everything else is fine. Don't read that stuff. And, unfortunately, talking about liver disease, my sister-in-law has liver disease. I think you know about that. I've told you several times. She gets sick all the time. Well, does she drink? Yeah. Is she an alcoholic? No more than I do or anybody else in the family. We like to have a good time, partake in libations, right? No big deal. Like most people, if you're into that. Yeah, she just can't excrete toxins. Her liver just kind of is just breaking down, so she's always sick and always sore back. And so she's seen many doctors. And it was interesting that she found out something, because she's like the 10th kid in her family. She's the baby. And her mom and dad had her, Monica, when her mom and dad were in their late 50s.
Oh my goodness. I can't imagine a baby right now.
No. And it was suggested, and of course she did all the research, that a lot of times these later babies, the women and men that are in their 50s, it's suggested that a lot of their genes or you could have a healthy family, but there's always seems to be a breakdown because your body doesn't produce what your
hormones,
body, the hormones for
yeah.
your baby when you're in your 20s, 30s, or whatever, right?
Well, when I had Lucas, I was 39 and I was considered a geriatric pregnancy, like a high risk pregnancy. And I was like, I'm 39.
Yeah.
Which was
old. I think it's kind of old for my buddy because my goddaughter, she's graduating this year, 18. And my buddy is 60. I'm like, dude, when I graduated from high school, my mom and dad were in their early 30s. I just thought it was weird to be a 60 years old and have your kid at 18. Now, again, you're going to be close to that age when Lucas graduates, correct?
Yeah, Chris will be in his 60s when he graduates. Yeah. I won't be quite. I don't think. When is it? 5 years? He's graduating 4 years. Yeah, I'm not going to be quite in my 60s, but Chris will be. But yeah, I mean,
nothing wrong with it. I know the Chris.
No, I mean, but I mean, at 39, I was like, I can't imagine at 50 something.
Oh yeah.
First of all, kudos to her for even producing eggs at that point to even be able to get pregnant.
I thought that stopped for you guys, you gals in your mid 40s. You start going through it. Producing of eggs and such.
Well, I mean, it can start. I mean, women can get into perimenopause like in their 30s. Like every body is different. And some women, I guess, and some women don't even go into menopause until like their mid 50s, which absolutely would suck.
Yeah.
The sooner it was done, the happier I will. I'm so happy.
Right, I'm sure.
I'm done.
Yeah. All my friends that are girls are my age or a few years younger, and we talk all the time. They're always just bitching. They're hot. They're cold. They're this. They're bitchy. And I'm like,
I didn't have that too bad. I get hot, and poor Chris is shivering under literal mountain of blankets, and I'm like in a tank top, like I'm dying with the fan blowing on me, and he's like shivering under a little blanket hut mountain that he builds on his side of the bed. And I get bad for him for that.
I gotta be a little bit cool because I get hot. I get hot in the winter time when I go to bed. I don't know. And I much prefer to be cool and cold at night, even in the winter when I go to sleep. I cannot stand being hot.
Well, you sleep better. I think there's some study that says you sleep better in a lower temperature, not freezing, of course. Like you don't want to see your breath. But like the high 60s, like 67, 68 degrees, I think is the ideal temp. I think I'd be freezing my butt off then. I mean, I like it right about 70, 71.
Yeah, I like to put a blanket on even in the summer, but a lot of times I just can't, not in the summertime. So that's why I have to crank my AC all the way up so I freeze at night. I mean, I do.
Chris said, lucky me.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, you are lucky. You know why? Because you're next to me.
There you go. Oh, look at that. Husband and wife in the chat room. So yeah. Oh, Chris, I hope you enjoyed the links that I provided for you.
Yeah, for your shows, your other interviews.
I try to pick out. So there's so many to pick out. I said, well, these are pretty good, entertaining at least. I seen that. Who was it in the chat room? Danny Staten said something about Wilcox.
David Wilcox.
I'm actually doing a show with Brian Bowden Tuesday. We're going to discuss these mysterious deaths in ufology, blah, 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 right? Not doing that today, but we're going to do that because it's kind of a hot topic. Most of it's conspiracy. Perhaps it's not. I don't know. But it got me to thinking, Monica, because, we a couple times, it could have been on the Saturday night show or whatever. I always talk about the most fascinating person. I forgot his every time. I always forget his name is Phil Schneider. You
Yeah.
know, and I seen the video 2 years ago, and then I seen him speak before, and my memory was fragmented. So I said, you know what? I talk about it so often, but I don't have my facts. I just kind of piece it together.
Mm-hmm.
So in the event of what's been happening, I found that story, which I'm going to. It's not long, but that we can kind of. I'm gonna go through it and read it, right?
Sure.
And you and I can kind of,
Sure. You want to talk UFOs, by the way. Chris would be a great person to have on to talk about because he's
oh,
the
really?
UFO king. Yeah. He's
Oh,
really
well, I definitely will put that in the back of my mind because we're going to talk that we're going to talk about this little Schneider, and then we're going to do it. We're going to go into the dark side of the moon.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thanks to everybody for coming on in. Hit that like button. Subscribe to BMR if new, and Monica Rollins, Our Paranormal World, and of course the Blondie and the Booze. So here's this. I found this. I looked this up and tried to piece it together so it's not too long and boring. The story of Phil Schneider sits right at this intersection of Cold War secrecy, UFO lore, and modern conspiracy culture. Separating documented fact from claimed experience is the key here. Schneider was a self-described government geologist and engineer who, through the early to mid 1990s, gave a series of public lectures across the United States, which I did catch one of those years ago on TV, video, whatever. In those talks, he claimed involvement in the construction of deep underground military bases, often referred to in conspiracy circles as DUMBs, deep underground blah 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 military bases. The centerpiece of his story was an alleged 1979 incident beneath Dulce base near Dulce. That's
all kinds of stuff near Dulce.
Dulce. Is it Dulce? Okay, Dulce, New Mexico, correct?
I mean, that's how I call it. I haven't
whatever.
paid it much attention. Dulce.
Dulce. But anyway,
Yeah.
Dulce. He described it in vivid performative detail. We drilled down, this is him speaking. We drilled down into a cavern, and what came out of that hole was not human. According to Schneider, the drilling team broke into a subterranean chamber occupied by non-human entities, often described in UFO lore as grays. He claimed a violent confrontation followed. And again, him speaking, I drew my pistol and fired. One of the beings struck me with some kind of energy weapon. It burned off several of my fingers. Now, I remember watching a video when he was talking about all this, and he shows, his hand literally was missing fingers. It was, it was pretty gruesome. Schneider frequently pointed to his missing fingers as physical evidence of the encounter, though medical documentation, whatever this says here, though medical documentation tying the injury to such a incident has never been verified. He went further, claiming 66 Secret Service agents, 66.
That's quite a few.
FBI and Black Berets were killed in the firefight. No official record or corroborating witnesses' testimony has ever substantiated those numbers or the event itself. And he goes on to talk about the Dulce base narrative. The alleged facility beneath Dulce has long been a focal point in UFO conspiracy theories. Schneider claimed it was a joint operation between elements of the United States government and extraterrestrial beings. A joint operation, okay.
Sure.
We were building bases for them, and they were using humans as experimental material. Again, these claims remain unverified and are widely rejected by mainstream investigators and historians. And then here's where it gets really weird, if that's not weird enough. January 17th, 1996, Schneider was found dead in his apartment in Wilsonville. The official ruling by authorities was suicide.
Mm-mm.
The reported cause of death was asphyxiation with a rubber catheter hose wrapped around his neck. The case was handled by local law enforcement and no evidence of foul play was formally established.
Mm.
However, those close to him and many in the UFO research community disputed that conclusion. A friend, often cited in discussions, claimed, Phil told me if anything happens to him, it wouldn't be suicide.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay, I did. Supporters pointed to several factors. His ongoing lecture circuit exposing alleged classification information claims that he was under surveillance, his own repeated statements that his life was in danger. And I do remember this guy would always made this very public. He felt that, hey, listen, something is going to happen to me. It's not me taking care of business.
No, yeah, I mean he was. I don't think he just said it to a friend. It was my understanding, and I thought that I had seen a video where he says, like, I would never. He's at a conference or something. He's like, I would never hurt if anything happens to me, I would never hurt myself. I wouldn't do it. So if I turn up dead and it looks like suicide, I didn't do that.
No, and I think a couple other people said that too. Like, who was a very popular guy? He's on the scene again. I always forget his name.
There's quite a few.
Oh God, he's George Neri, who was just on Joe Rogan. The guy that worked at the Area 51. His name always slips.
I just friended Lazar.
Bob Lazar, yeah. And I know that he always mentioned this too. I guess one of the reasons why he came out of the closet, so to speak, was because for his own personal safety. I don't know if that makes sense,
blow yourself up as much as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stories that Lazar has are crazy. Like, he's lucky he's still, before he even came out in the spotlight with everything, like when he was just starting to like talk about it, there were a lot of crazy things that happened to him.
Mm-hmm. And he was kind of a genius too, because he made himself a rocket bike or car or vehicle. I mean, the guy was very smart. There's no doubt the guy was.
He was an engineer or
an engineer, yes.
Aeronautical engineer or something like that.
That. So anyway, moving back to this Phil Schneider, skeptics, however, note that, let's see, Schneider had a documented history of health issues, including cancer. There's no independently verified evidence of government involvement. His technical claims about underground construction often conflicted with known engineering practices.
Well, yeah, they're not known. That's why they conflict with them.
That's right.
It's UFO technology.
That's what it is. The case has never been, the case has never been reported as a homicide by authorities, but it continues to circulate in alternative research communities. Some theories that they suggest on this is the government silencing. Believers argue Schneider was assassinated to prevent disclosure of extraterrestrial cooperation. Psychological personal factors. Some investigators suggest his claims have stemmed from paranoia or delusion, especially given inconsistencies in his background. Kind of like Bob Lazar too, because no one can ever find his degree anywhere. They can't prove who he is academically.
Really?
Yeah, I just seen that on Joe Rogan, some of it.
Okay.
It was a short.
I don't watch Rogan.
I don't either, but I kind of watched that one because I was interested in that. Mixed reality. A smaller group believes Schneider may have had some legitimate. Okay. A smaller group believes Schneider may have had some legitimate technical experience, but embellished or misinterpreted events. The lasting impact, whether taken as testimony, cautionary tale, or conspiracy myth, Schneider's story helped cement the legend of Dulce Base as one of the most endearing underground facility narratives in UFO culture. His lectures are still circulated today. Of course, I've seen. That's where I found all this, years ago. Often cited alongside broader theories about secret government programs, extraterrestrial agreements, and of course, underground military infrastructure. Yeah, blah blah blah. There is no verified evidence that a firefight with extraterrestrials occurred beneath Dulce, nor that Schneider's death involved anything beyond what authorities concluded. But the power of the story lies in how it was told, direct, detailed, and delivered as firsthand experience. I know what I saw, and I wish I didn't, he claims, he states. And for many, that's where the mystery continues to live, not in confirmed facts, but in the space between testimony and proof. The question no one fully answers. Oh, no, that's it. That's something else. I got to tell you, I kind of believe that. I believe a lot of weird things too, but what I don't know is these 66 alleged government operatives that got unalived.
Yeah.
There's got to be a file or a record on that, or you think that's something that they seal and bury?
I think that the government has a lot of assets. I think that they have a very long reach, and I think they have a very strong I don't know how to put this. They have a very strong ability to control a narrative. Right? I think that 66 agents, the United States and the world is a big place. And if you have agents that are operating, covertly, let's say, their families know that they're going on missions, but they don't know what missions, right? They're kind of spook-ish. Somebody like that disappearing, they're not going to make a lot of news. They could say, oh, their plane went down in Southeast Asia. This guy, did this, they're missing. I don't think that it's difficult to explain away 66 covert agents if you consider it globally. Like they could potentially have been anywhere in the world. Well, they might have been based out of the US if they're doing work for the government. It's not constricted to the borders of the United States. I think that there's a lot of disinformation that is pumped out by the government. And I think that the biggest issue right now, and it has been, is discerning who is a legitimate whistleblower with legitimate information and who is a disinformation spinner.
Yeah.
Somebody who's out there planning false information, trying to divert attention or just make things sound less credible. It would be nothing for them to go into a college, computer and delete evidence of somebody having been there, having attended, like I said, the government's reach is long.
It is long, and again, the thing that really I'm very interested in ufology, aliens, this, that, and these underground bases. Now we talk a lot about the cryptids and the paranormal because that's our thing. We've experienced all these things throughout our lives, right? We talk about it because it's our thing. And I've never really fully, every time I try to really learn more about what's going on, you mentioned a great word, disinformation agents. I got to tell you, Monica, I can hear a story about Dogman that I can believe in. Right. But it seems like when it comes to talking about aliens and outer space and all these things, it's just so confusing where I don't even know who to believe. I thought a long time ago that Lou Elizondo was like the foremost authority, but now I guess he's been talked about, bandied about, that he's fraudulent, right?
Well, anybody can come on and point a finger at somebody and say that's not true. I mean, who's going to confirm it? You can't confirm that it's true or false. And that's where it becomes really like a razor's edge that you walk, like who's legitimate, who's, somebody that you can listen to for fact-based information. You don't know. You don't know. And there's, of course, everybody who says, oh, none of that stuff's real, which, I mean, maybe it isn't. I think there's too much evidence to the contrary. I think there's too many witnesses to the contrary outside of whistleblowers, right? Just everyday people seeing some weird crap.
Yeah.
And there's something to it. But again, like trying to discern who is legitimate in their claims is near impossible. Because you don't know, are they a government plant to like seed BS?
Okay.
And to divert people away from like the real thing that's going on? Or are they legitimate whistleblowers?
Right.
Or are they, somebody who's planted to tell the public what they want to hear. Like maybe there is something, 100% there was weird stuff going on at Area 51, but is it alien technology or is it just super secret Air Force mechanics? I don't know.
Which could be, right?
It could be, but maybe somebody's out here telling them, oh yeah, it's UFOs and this and that to distract people from the real stuff that's going on.
What we're actually doing.
Yeah.
Building our war machine.
Yeah.
And next Tuesday, Brian and I are going to break down some of these things. I wanted to ask you, Monica. It seems recently, though, a lot of people in this field have been, they're no longer with us. I'll just leave it at that. Do you think, it seems to me, though, over the last several years, it seems like people are being shut out. Don't you think that do you think people are being eliminated in the UFO world because of what they know? Or do you think there's more conspiracy theory, bad luck, bad health? I slipped in the shower on soap and I busted my head open.
Well, it depends. I think some of them are legitimately being shut up.
Right.
Right. I don't think the guy that I've just completely blanked on his name. Who we were just talking about. I don't think he killed himself. I don't think he
Phil
killed
Schneider,
himself.
this guy.
Yeah, Schneider. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't think he killed him. I 100% do not think he killed himself. But as far as like all these missing scientists, like these 11 folks that have either perished or gone missing under mysterious circumstances, I think that it's worth taking a look into because they were all working on, I want to say, nuclear projects, right? They were working on some sensitive materials. I would be more concerned with an enemy state kidnapping them for real, trying to get them to talk or trying to get information out of them. It doesn't always have to be the government, offing them or doing whatever because they know too much. If they're working with super sensitive U.S. intelligence, especially when it concerns our defense, enemies of this enemy states, they're going to want to have that information too.
Of course. And I think these men, so I can see us putting out a target on one of our own to keep it from China, Russia, whoever, right?
Yeah, who's to say that, sleeper cells, right? Spies, they don't, a Chinese spy doesn't look like an Asian American necessarily.
It looks like me or you.
Yeah, they're going to look like any, you look like blonde hair and blue eyed. They're working for money, right? Yeah. And so I personally think that it has something more in line with that than it does them being hushed up because they were working on some secret alien technology or something.
I can buy that, and I agree with that. And for those just coming on in, me and Brian Bowden on Tuesday night at 9 are going to break down a lot of this stuff and go further. I just been reading so much, and I want to bring up that story about Schneider because I always botch it because it's fragmented.
But it's interesting. It's interesting because you really can see both sides of it. Maybe, but then he was so adamant, like, I am not going to hurt myself.
Yes.
In the government, I want to say that there was some proof somewhere that they were harassing him at one point. So I'm not, I don't think that he would have done that. I mean, if you've got somebody who's coming after you, okay, we all know the story of me and my first husband. I used to tell people all the time, if I turn up missing or if I turn up dead and it looks like I like myself way too much to hurt myself.
Yes.
So there's something fishy going on. I mean, at no point ever would I even think about it, like if there was an asteroid coming and we knew that our days were numbered, would I want to take the easy route? I don't even know if I could do it then.
No, I mean, no, hey, this is not funny at all because I thought about that. You know, I like watching disaster movies, especially the asteroid ones, just for some sick reason.
Sure.
And there was a movie that's always on. Now, one movie that I have seen like so many times, I forgot the name of it though. About the asteroid hits Earth, and I think Dennis Quaid. I forget who's in it. Anyways, but I thought that not too long ago, Monica. I was like, man, if I knew that there was a asteroid that is going to end the world as we know, I'm not going to still run out and unalive myself prior to the event.
I don't know that I could.
I could. Oh, first of all, I couldn't, and I wouldn't want to. You know, the crazy thing about myself is we'd all be scared. We'd all be, oh my, we'd all be, how.
Don't watch the movie. Don't Look Up because it.
I saw the movie.
Spoiler. Oh, you did. It was one of the ones you saw.
Was that with Leo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I liked that.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
I mean,
too.
The world ends. The world.
No,
ends.
I saw that. I liked that. It was a long time. I did see that one. We'd all be scared. We'd all be, I don't know, we'd all be frazzled beyond belief. I just would want to see it. I'd want to see that asteroid boom, because you know what? We're not going to feel nothing. We're going to be evaporated in seconds.
Well, if it impacts near you, you'd be evaporated, but
the thing
it depends, right? It just depends on asteroid. Like, okay, so if Apophis, you remember the Apophis asteroid, right?
I do.
Okay, and they talked about if it threads this little hole and it would, when it circles back around in 2030 something, there's a chance it's going to impact off the coast of Santa Monica, California.
Oh, yeah.
Right, off the coast of Southern California. And I was just thinking, it's not extinction level, I don't think, but it is like a massive reset because the dust that would, tsunamis aside, right? Yeah. And I'm sure tremors around the world aside.
Yeah.
The amount of debris that would be blown up into the atmosphere, it would take a long time to clear. So we'd have a dimmed sun, which means the earth would cool rapidly.
Yep.
And there's a lot, like, again, it's not complete extinction level, but it's a serious problem.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, was that enough to trigger some people to just easy route out? I don't know.
Well, here's the interesting thing that you're talking about this. Okay, an asteroid is not, extinction level. Let's say it was one where, mankind as we know it is done. And then I always refer back to another favorite movie of mine that I've seen, the Mad Max series.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm thinking, Rob, would I want to live in a dystopian world where,
right,
we're all murdering,
dystopian,
and we're all murdering. I mean, we turn to murderers to survive or protecting ourselves, and then the only resource is, gas or oil. Which, let's say there was a reserve, and that was like gold today.
Right.
It would just be, and then the brutality of the battles.
I mean, just the complete breakdown of society, right? And people revert to just very primitive behaviors because it's truly just survival. Your instincts are survive at some point. But I mean, currency is no longer what you think it is. Like, okay, so when I worked for Dallas Gold and Silver way back in the day, we used to have people come into our stores and they would buy what's called junk silver.
Okay.
And it's all the dimes, like the old dimes that have high silver weight, right? Or percentage, right? So it's mostly silver. And they'd come through and they'd want to buy junk silver. And these were all the preppers and the doomsday guys they would want to buy it. And they're like, well, credit cards aren't any good. This and that isn't any good. And, you can just reach into your pocket and grab a handful of silver. And I'm like, who gives a flip about it? I mean, that's what I was thinking while these guys are trying to explain it to me. Who cares about silver, dude? Your currency is going to be food and water. Water, actually.
Trade, water, right.
So who cares? What are they going to do with your silver? Can't eat it. Like,
no, you can't do nothing
doing with it. Maybe some colloidal silver for infections and stuff, but not coins from 1942. I mean, nobody's going to care about that.
No. Really quickly, Stargazer, if we lost power for 6 months, this would be like Mad Max movies. I lost power for 2 weeks during Hurricane Helene. We were close to anarchy, Yeah,
I mean, EMPs, an EMP attack would be devastating.
Oh, listen.
And that scares me. Like, I consider buying Faraday. Like, I can't get Faraday for the car. I mean, you can, but holy cow, that's expensive. But I mean, there's Faraday like cages and bags and things you can have for your electronics. But I mean, you never know when it's going to happen. You'd have to keep everything in a Faraday all the time.
And just it's getting me thinking now, because how not you and I per se, but humans and people in general. I got to tell you this story. This wasn't too long after 9/11. Me and my buddy Bob were on the Detroit River. We're at Sugar Island on a boat. It was a big spot where everybody would hang out. And it was getting close to, we were there pretty late. The sun was still out, but it was just getting ready to settle, right? First go down. And we're out there doing our thing. And it was pretty though, because from the island you could look to the coastline of Detroit, and now the lights started coming on, so you saw kind of the background, of the buildings. Very cool, right? And then all of a sudden, I don't know if you experienced this or even remember this. I know it was a Michigan thing for sure, but a power grid went out, and everybody in our boats and all of our electronic devices shut down.
Oh.
Right?
On the boats?
Yeah, we were on boats. Yeah, we're at
weird. Why would your battery die?
Well, not like the battery, like the radios. What happened was that we lost power, Monica, because I know the radio station went static. And me and my buddy Bob are getting out. We're walking around in the water on the island, and everybody that had a boat, their radio was static. Couldn't read anything. Which was powered electrically, right? Okay, from their boats.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody started freaking out. Then we looked to the skyline, and the entire city of Detroit went dark. A power grid went out in that section where I lived. It was out for like 12 hours. We all thought that we were being, it was a terrorist attack, though. It was that following summer after 9/11, okay? So getting back to the point I was trying to make about people, so me and Bob, it was very creepy and very eerie. So me and Bob says, hey, let's get out of here. Let's go back home, right? And we had to go through a section of Detroit to get to he went and docked his boat. He docked his boat in Detroit at a harbor or at a marina, get his vehicle. And as we're driving through Detroit, a part of Detroit, it was dark, no lights.
Mm-hmm.
And people literally, and this is way back, during this time period, you could hear glass being broke and people running on the streets, just running amok.
Just looting and going nuts.
Looting and going nuts. It wasn't even 12 hours yet. That was one of the most spooky feelings and eerie feelings of my entire life. And we would hear gunshots going off, and here me and this guy are trying to get the heck out of here. It was just so ominous and eerie. So I can only imagine with something like that, like Stargazer said, blah, 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 whatever he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the society really liked that. I mean,
I don't want to live in a major city again. I don't want to live in the middle of a major city ever again. Like the city that we're in is even iffy, and it's not even that big. Like I think if you're on the outskirts of town or in a rural situation, I mean, as far as humanity goes, you're a little safer. But it's scary how fast I think everything would break down, because people are desperate and people are a-holes, and when it comes down between me and you, I'm going to pick me and you're going to pick you,
Yeah. Yeah, Keith, it might have been, I confused the dates, 2008, it could have been, but there was a multi-state blackout. I now remember a little more vividly. I just thought it was Michigan, but there was a grid. I think it was the East Coast, and I forgot what it was. Again, I'm just talking from memory. I forget, it was so long ago. But it was just so scary driving around, and people were looting, and much like you see in, like, Los Angeles or Chicago, all these places where we've had all of these events take place. You know what I'm talking about? Not getting into any of that, but yeah, just creepy.
There's so many things that can go sideways, and I think the bulk of the population doesn't think about it, doesn't have the money to prep properly, doesn't know how to do. They don't think about it, and they don't know how to do it, and they don't necessarily have the resources. Because, I mean, consider like inner cities and urban areas where maybe not the biggest wealth distribution. You know, people that are living paycheck to paycheck aren't stockpiling anything.
No,
And that's a huge chunk of America.
That's every other person probably.
No, it is. I mean, it's a large chunk, and those are the people that are going to go bananas sooner. Of course, there's a jerk who's just looking for an excuse to be a jackass.
Yeah.
But, you got the people that are going to be put in a desperate situation a lot faster.
Absolutely. I agree. So I thought that was interesting, Phil Schneider. Then we kind of elaborated, and we got a little, like we always do, which makes the show. But yeah, the dystopian life. I always picture myself, I'll just be Mad Max, this warrior.
Yeah, I mean, I think about societal breakdown, like all these, dystopian situations. Which one would I rather be in, an ice age, or I'd rather be in an ice age, I think. But that sucks too. It's got its own baloney problems. I mean,
no matter how you cut the cheese, you're
gonna suck.
It's gonna suck. It's just gonna suck.
And I'm like, where would I need to be? I want to be, it depends on, which way we're going down. Is it an ice age? Is it an EMP? Is it a nuclear war? Is it an asteroid?
Oh, the nuclear war thing. Can you imagine surviving that though? If it just
oh my God, I had a nightmare about that the other night. I had to tell Chris because it was so vivid. I woke up like panicked because I woke up in the dark. And Chris had already gone to work, so I was like all alone. I was like, like I woke up panicked. I had a dream that I was in a downtown, like a major city. I was in downtown. We were at some event. It was me and Chris and Lucas.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, our phones at least are going off, and it was an alert, and it said, incoming missile, whatever. You've got 16 minutes to get X amount of miles away from where you're located.
Oh my God.
And I was like, holy shit. I was like, I knew it was going to happen when we were in the middle of freaking wherever we were. And we were like up high, and we had to like fight our way down. And then and I was like, there's no way we're going to clear it. There's no way we're going to clear that distance in time.
Yeah.
And we get to the car, and I'm like, there's no way. Like, people on the street are freaking out. Like, and we get so far, and I'm like, it seems like 16 minutes has elapsed. That time frame has elapsed. And then I see this, like, there was no flash. I was waiting for the flash, but then there's just this cloud of like debris, like coming down the street. And I'm like, oh shit. And it hits us, and I see people like being blown apart around me.
Oh God, really?
And it freaked me out so bad because it was so realistic. And I mean, I was legit like upset when I woke up.
Yeah, I can see that because you and I have vivid dreams. I had a dream. I can't remember where I woke up, and I thought my dream was reality.
Yeah.
For a brief instance.
Just for a few seconds.
And it was dark. And I said, whoa, shit. Okay, this is reality right here. That was a dream.
Right.
Yeah. Some of them, they scared the Jesus out of me, much like yourself. And that's what you just explained there is, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't want to go in any major city now.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, too. I've seen a lot of people commenting. Yeah. In the event of that type of lifestyle or an asteroid or any sort of attack, my ass is getting in my vehicle. I'm just going up north. I'm getting out of the area of Detroit.
Yeah, you got to get to like Wyoming.
I'm 40 minutes
from Nebraska. You got to go like north central.
Yeah, because
good luck though. I mean, good luck because there's going to be you can't take the highways because there's going to be people on you on the highways.
That's why we have to get a hovercraft.
That's exactly why. That's why we need teleportation.
Yes.
So I can just be there.
Yeah, I could be myself to an underground mountain, to a mountain in Montana, well beneath the ground. And damn well we have them, our government. Our government's probably stocked up for 30 years to survive something.
So I unlocked a new fear of space the other day.
Uh-oh.
Google Starquake.
Oh, gosh.
Google Starquake. Not right now. I mean, you don't have to do it right now.
The
potential of what that would release hitting Earth in underground doesn't help you because it penetrates several miles underground.
Oh, boy.
So
I just wrote it down. Yeah.
Space is terrifying. I mean, I've been terrified like for many a decade. I've been afraid of space.
Space is terrifying. I used to not be scared at all of the Great Lakes or the oceans, but now as I'm a little bit older, a little more knowledge about things, that's super scary too.
Yeah, it's just like sometimes I'm like, why do I look into this crap like ignorance?
Well, that's what we do.
I do that to myself.
Well, we all love to scare ourselves.
I'm kind of tired of it.
Well, we have that sixth sense of, I just gotta look this up really quick, even though I know it's gonna suck. I do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it would. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. What is a Starquake? I have never.
Well, now that I wouldn't think anything different. Starquake.
And then I read about it, and then I read about if it's within like 8 light years of Earth, like pretty close, and it was emitted towards Earth, we'd be so screwed. And then think about this: would the government tell us?
Of course not.
Now, they don't want mass pandemonium for however long it takes for it to reach Earth. No, not telling you anything. An asteroid could be ready to hit us next week. They wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, no, the government's not our friend. We all know that. They do nothing for us. Control us. Try to control us. Okay, let's talk about space. I'm going to go through this. We might as well knock this one out about the conspiracy theories about the moon. A lot of people might have heard this before, but again, I was into this thing about, again, next Tuesday, you guys, me and Brian Bowden, we're going to break down the 11 deaths of these ufologists. We're going to go into some in-depth things and listen to Brian's take, because Brian's a big UFO guy, and he's pretty knowledgeable. So it'll be a fun show Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. We're going to break down all this stuff. This show is just kind of what we do, Monica and I, whatever we come up with. But I was always fascinated by the dark side of the moon, Monica. I might have done a show on this years ago, but we've talked about so many different things. So I'm going to go through this really quick. It says here, Monica, there's no permanent dark side of the moon.
I know that.
I know that. Tidal, the tides, right?
Well, it rotates.
The rotating around the
Earth. It does. There's no permanent dark side of the moon.
Nope. And right here says, oh, okay, well, here we go. Because of tidal locking, the same side of the moon always faces Earth, but the far side does receive sunlight. Scientists call it the far side, not the dark side. But that hasn't stopped decades of speculation. And maybe there's a reason for that. At first, for the first glimpse and the first silence. In 1959, the Soviet spacecraft Luna 3 became the first to photograph the far side of the moon. What came back wasn't what scientists expected. The near side is covered in dark, flat plains, Maria. the far side. Rugged, heavy, cratered, and strange, almost untouched. Years later, a Soviet engineer named Vladimir Azaha would claim the moon is not what it appears to be. It is not a natural body. That statement would echo for decades the Apollo missions and the voices that were supposed to be heard. Fast forward to the late 1960s. This is the one I like, kind of. The United States launches the Apollo program, culminating in the historic landing of Apollo 11 in 1969. Of course, astronaut Neil Armstrong steps onto the surface. The official transcript is clean and very controlled. But for years, a different version has circulated, one that was never confirmed and never fully debunked. According to radio operators and amateur listeners at the time, there was a moment when the communications shifted to a private channel. And what was allegedly said, these babies are huge, sir, enormous. Oh, God, you wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, there are other spacecraft out there lined up on the far side of the crater's edge, watching us. NASA, of course, has always denied this, but the rumor never died. We were told not to come back. Can you imagine? I mean, you've heard that before, I'm sure.
Mhm.
What do you think? We never talked about them. First of all, okay, let me ask you this. Do we go to the moon, Monica?
Yeah, I think we did.
I do too. I think we did.
There's a lot of people that don't, and that's I understand why they don't.
I understand that too.
But I do think we did.
I
Just like I think we went up and slingshot around. They photographed the things that were left behind from the Apollo crew
okay.
that are still on the moon's surface. Like there's photographs that were taken by Artemis.
Right. Okay.
So I do. I think that they were there. Now I can't, and I know that there is a very rational explanation to it. I just don't know it. I don't understand why, if you look at the size of the moon compared to the size of the Earth, why does the Earth look roughly the size of the moon from the moon? You would think that it would be occupying a lot more real estate in the sky from the surface of the moon, but it doesn't. And like I said, I'm sure that there's a very reasonable explanation for that. I just don't know what it is. And that always made me go, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand that, but I'm not, I guess I'm just not smart like that. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
and I'm sure I could Google it. I just haven't.
yeah. Well, do you think that that statement, but I'm not going to reread that. Do you think that our astronauts saw aliens? Or they were told not to come back?
I think that it's very curious that we only went up there once and didn't come back. I do think
That's
it's very
odd.
curious.
Isn't that
Yeah.
kind of odd?
I don't know. There's a lot of different explanations for why we wouldn't have done that. But being told don't show your rear end back up here is certainly a possibility. Do I think the moon is fake though? I don't think the moon is fake.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Some suggest that the moon is hollow, and it's either an alien, a United States base.
Well, no, I don't think that they think that the U.S. I'm sure that
or alien base.
There could be an alien base on it, but
a guy was.
I don't think so. I don't think that it's hollow, but there is an indigenous tribe in Africa that has creation stories of the earth. And they talk about when the moon showed up. And it wasn't like, back. I mean, it was like 8,000 years ago, the moon showed up or something like that. I mean, I'm throwing a number out there, but it was in terms of time, relatively recently. Like if you look at like the age of the earth, it was relatively recently there, but that's the only culture that has that I'm aware of. I mean, there could be others. That's just one that I've heard, which is super interesting. But again, creation stories are all over the place. And I don't think it's hollow. And people are like, oh, well, the moon rang like a bell. Well, yeah, I mean,
The moon's hollow, just like
I don't think it's hollow.
The moon's
I think
hollow,
it's-
just like the Earth is flat.
Yeah, I don't think the Earth is flat either. You know.
Okay, I was listening to the show. Actually, I know this guy. We've talked once in a while. He's told me that the moon is an actual. It's picture this like a hub for interterrestrial or intergalactics to travel, and then they hang out, kind of like
Well, why'd they hang out on the moon and not down on Earth where there's kind of cool stuff?
And they observe the Earth from the moon.
He
says that the galaxy, the Federation, the Galactic Federation has their annual meetings there on the moon.
Why the moon, though? There's so many.
I don't know.
Why would you have it on this desolate,
I don't know,
dusty crater
ball
as opposed to the
I go to some beautiful planet that had like lush jungle and forest.
Why would you not go
right?
to the planet that's got an interesting habitat? Like, why would you?
Yeah, that's a great point. I sure as hell would not want to have a. If
I'm
a part of the
biology's over there, why we like? What am I here for?
Yeah, I'm with you. If I'm having a meeting, if I'm in the Federation of the whatever the hell it is, I'm not going to do it on the moon. I'm going somewhere cool. Find a planet nobody knows about and just hang out there because there are.
Sure.
There's planets.
There's a lot of Earth-like planets out there. I mean, for us now, different aliens, I'm sure, would have different requirements.
Right.
For their biology, but there's a whole array of choices in our solar system.
Oh, there is. It's infinite. I think it'd be interesting because I also heard things about on the dark side of the moon, which we know which kind of doesn't really exist. They weren't showing pictures. People suggested there are actual buildings on the moon. Now, we would have been able to see that from Artemis, right? Did that circle the entire moon? Take pictures from the entire moon? And do you think if there was, the United States would not show us these pictures or images?
Well, I mean, if they're already hiding alien bases around the world, I don't think they're going to be like, oh, check out the.
I know it's kind of a dumb question because I get it. They're not going to tell us anything about anything. Somebody's got to have photos that they can leak for a price. And then they'll get off, like the start of the show. We talked about people getting unalived, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, like anytime you provide photographic evidence of anything, there's always going to be somebody saying that's fake.
Oh, there is. That's why
really easy for the government. I mean, even if legit photos were leaked, it would be nothing for the government to send people like regular folks out there or a scientist out there to be like, oh, this is fake and this is why it's fake. I mean, there's always going to be, naysayers, just like Bigfoot and any other cryptid.
Like,
you got to have a body.
Yeah, a body. And I was going to tell you this. And it's not for selfish reasons. I seen a Bigfoot. I know they exist. So that's not I saw a Bigfoot, right? Or whatever the hell it was. I will tell you, though, if I was ever out in the forest moving forward from today, and if I saw a creature that was Bigfoot or a dog man, I don't care. Am I going to try to take a picture if I can? Yes. And let's say I do take that image, Monica, and it's fabulous. And I know that it's real because I was there.
Right.
And not for selfish reasons. I'm only going to show it to maybe you and a couple other people of our friends. I'm not going to make it public. I'm not. I'm going to keep it for myself.
Because no one's going to believe you anyway. I mean, I'd show my friends. I'd be like, look what I've got. But I would.
What do you think? No one would believe you.
Yeah, I would. I mean, and even if I did make it public and I would 100% go into that knowing people are not going to believe me. I know they're not. But even though I know that I'm not lying, I would gain nothing from it usually, other than ridicule. I mean, unless you like people talking crap about you, there's no point to come forward with anything. It doesn't matter because nobody's going to believe you. I mean, it's like
not matter. It doesn't matter. In today's advanced technology with AI, I kind of tell people, I mean, if I have guests on the show on Tuesdays, they got all these photos. Hey, listen, yeah, you can. I'll show a couple of your photos, but I got to tell you right now, who knows what it is, right? Because people are going to judge it
I'll
regardless.
tear your photo up, just like I'd expect somebody to tear my photo up.
Yeah.
Don't come at me with red circles and shadows, man. That's the
No.
first thing. Like, you better have something that a 5-year-old could pick out.
Yeah.
Like, it better be clear and in the camera's lens.
That's why I don't even like taking photos from people, because this was maybe a month ago. Somebody sent me all these photos. Okay, so who is this now? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking at these, and Monica, I'm like, what is this? It's the woods. I didn't even see pareidolia. I didn't see nothing. Oh, Rob, what'd you think about my photos? I'm like, hey, listen, no offense, bro. What exactly am I supposed to be looking at? The beautiful foliage? I don't see anything. And they get mad at me. Or you or any.
Oh, yeah. No,
You're
but
mad
I'm
at me
honest. I'm
because
like,
I don't see anything.
I was like, okay, and I will point out, like, if it's pareidolia, or not even, like, if it's just a weird shadow, but it's
Yeah.
a shadow, I'll say, okay, I see this shadow over here, or I see this what looks like a face over here. Is that what you're talking about? I mean, I try to be nice.
Oh, well, I'm not a dick
I mean,
about it
this
either.
is what I see. What are
Yeah.
you wanting me to see? And usually they come back, oh no, look over here, and I'm like, okay, well, it's another freaking shadow.
Now, I do like looking at a picture and someone tells me nothing. I don't want to know what you're sending me. I'll look at it. But don't be mad when I see nothing.
Well, I mean, sometimes 100% I can see what they think they're seeing.
Well,
But it's like two branches and a leaf. Like, it's you're seeing what you want to see. And I get it. I can spot what you're trying to show me.
Yeah.
But that's not
I can spot it. And again, I'm not telling anybody not to send them photos, nothing. I'll look at them gladly, but it's like, people got to get off this. What do you mean you don't see anything type of thing?
I mean, I see something, but it's not what you think it is. Yeah. And I try to be as kind as possible, because, I mean, you see what you see, and I see what you think you see, but I can't chalk that up to absolute proof. Just like, if I did the same thing to somebody else, I wouldn't expect them to be like, oh, yeah, Monica's got 100% irrefutable proof. No, I don't.
Right.
I've got a photograph, and I'm telling you what I see in it.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to see something else.
And reflecting back really quickly about the body thing, let's say that, well, I don't think you and I would kill one. We wouldn't. Now, if we happen across a body that was just freshly, unalived or whatever, I don't know that I'd gather. I mean, I might take a photo, but I don't think that, even if you were to call somebody to take it in to wherever you would even take it, I would probably take it to a local news station.
I don't think you'd be able to move the body. I think that you would have to take pieces of the body out, like take the head.
See, I'm not going to cut the head off. Not if it looks human.
I would.
You would? Even if it looked like me with hair on my head?
Well, if it was like a clear person, I'm not doing that. I'm calling the cops and reporting a murder.
Well, okay.
But if it's a cryptid, first of all,
if it's a cryptid,
why is it here and there's no other cryptids around? And then I would think it's like something's here somewhere watching this. Do I desecrate the body and getting torn apart for desecrating the body?
Yeah, and what if another clan's a tribal member of the Sasquatch is there and it attacks?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, if you take one out, you've got to. I don't think you're going to be able to.
You're not going to drag
pack the whole thing out of there. They're just way too big.
No, you're not.
You
got a tow truck
strategic parts of it, and even then, here's the thing: even with one body, that's not going to be enough. You're going to have to replicate it.
Yeah,
they need to be able to take samples, specimen, more than one.
For sure, more than one, and And even see us how we're talking about the government earlier, Monica. We can wrap it up with this. I'd even be leery of getting the DNA to send it somewhere, because you know what it's gonna. Even if it's authentic, it's Bigfoot, it's whatever. the results you're looking for are going to be inconclusive.
Yeah, you don't have a baseline. It doesn't matter if you get DNA. You're going to get contaminated. You're going to get unknown.
Yeah.
It's not going to tell you anything
Yeah.
unless you've got a baseline to compare it to. And you have to have the bodies to prove that it exists to get the baseline to build that off of.
Yes, the baseline, of course.
And people get pissed. You can't kill them. I don't want it. But I'm just saying, if it wants to get proven,
that's what you would have to do.
Yeah.
Now, the one that I saw, I gladly would have unalive. I'll tell you right now, I would have shot it because it didn't look like. Well, when it metamorphed. Yeah.
But I mean, you got to have a really well placed shot, and that's my fear every time I pull a gun. Like the one time that thing was rushing me in the dark, and I had my gun on it, and I had to wait for it to clear the tree line before I pulled the trigger. And I'm thinking, if I don't hit it absolutely in the head, because I'm assuming it's coming straight at me.
Yeah.
I'm kind of screwed. If I wing it and injure it, it's going to be PO'd. And then I'm really screwed.
You're a goner.
So you either take it out or don't take the shot.
Yeah.
And that's stressful.
Yeah. And for those of you that might be new to the channel, when I said I would have shot the one that I saw, it's not because I'm an advocate. It's because if you didn't hear my story, it was not something that it would have killed. It would have unalived me in an instant for no reason.
Yes.
And just because I was on its ground.
Take it out with one shot.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, they run faster than you do. All the cryptids. They run faster than you do.
Yes. So that would have been a self-defense shot. And trust me, if I was on land, I probably would be doing a show today, Monica. I believe that. I would have been wasted.
Right.
Gone. But
yeah, I don't trust myself to hit this.
Oh,
Chris is such a good shot. He's naturally a
but here's the thing. You could, he probably is. And even if you are, my dad was an infantryman, a sharpshooter when he was in the Army.
I'm not a sharpshooter.
But can you imagine though, as skilled as you'd have to have steel in your ice water in your veins, because if you're looking at a creature that's not supposed to exist bearing down on you, God, I don't know if I could keep my arms steady. Just think about that one. Your arm, I'd be like,
you're shaking. When I was holding the gun and the thing was running down the hill at me, I was shaking. I was shaking because I don't want to. I don't want to have to do that.
No, correct. That's the last thing on my mind.
But I also don't want to get mauled.
Yes, it's just like a grizzly bear, right? We talked about this ad nauseum.
Well, there were brown bears in the area. There's cougars.
I don't want to go out that way.
No, it's sucks. You ever been bitten by any kind of animal? It's
20 times for you. Yeah, I get it.
I'm good. I'm slowly being mauled. One bite at a time.
There you go. We're going to cut it a few minutes early. I got a lot of stuff to do. Thanks to everybody for coming on in. If you are new, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Monica, our Paranormal World. I'll be back Saturday night with Monica and I think Brandy at 11 o'clock. So, yeah. Hey, and next Tuesday, me and Brian Bowden, man, we're going to get together. I think Krista will be with us. We're talking about all these unexplained deaths in the ufology. Yeah, it's kind of a hot topic. We're going to do it Tuesday. Monica, what you got for us today? I know you have a show. She's got a channel. Subscribe, and you'll get it when she gets it.
Yeah, when summertime rolls around, I'll be okay.
There you go. Summertime. Yeah. Very well. Very good.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
I get that job that I went on the interview.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I have an idea, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. If it was from home.
Sure.
Anyways.
Yeah, who doesn't want that?
We all do. With that being said, thanks to everybody. And until next time, for Monica, I am BMR. Hit the like button on your way out. Have a great upcoming weekend.
Thanks for watching Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob, and beyond. Join the many Tuesday night PM Eastern, the squad is complete. Thursday at 1 PM Eastern, we bring the heat. Saturday 11 PM Eastern, the fire is on, the hunt is on, the roar is strong. Hit subscribe, ring the bell.